we are now going to look at evaluating function and what that looks like, but let's talk about this situation first. Alright, we've got markers and they cost 99 cents each. So let's write an equation that relates the number of markers, and we're going to say markers is my x value and the total cost, which is my y. So remember when I'm writing equations, especially from words, we've got y is going to be the total cost. And we've got x is the number of markers. And we know that each marker costs 99 cents. So how are we going to write this? What are we trying to find out? We're trying to find out how many of our markers we buy, how much is that going to cost us? So that is our y, that's what's going y equals. Okay? And then how much does each marker cost? Well, they cost 99 cents, we know that. And how would we find out how much any number costs? We would take 99 cents and we would multiply it by the number of markers we pick up. And number of markers is going to be represented by x. So if I knew that each marker cost 99 cents and I wanted to buy 5, that's how I would get my total cost that I know I'm going to spend. So remember, our functions have two variables. So if we forgot how to do this, remember they have two variables like this. So we've got a y and an x. One of those variables is called our input variable, and that is our x. That's the one that's going to change. That's the number that we're going to be putting in input. And it is also called the independent variable because it's not dependent on something else. So our other variable is our output. It's what's going to be what our function is going to give us. So that's our y, and it is called our dependent variable. And that's because in order to get our output or get to know how much money we're going to spend, it's dependent on how many markers we get. We can't know this without getting this. Alright, there's another way of writing this. Instead of writing it y equals 0.99 times x, we can write it in function notation. And this is a way of representing our function algebraically. And so function notation looks like this. So all we're doing with function notation is we replace the y with this f open parentheses x close parentheses. One more note to put here, we read this as f of x. Those are the words you use, f of x. So let's label these. So our f of x is going to be the name of our function. Name of function. This whole f of x is just like it was our y, and remember our y was our, you can't see where I'm pointing, our y was our output. So that's our output. What was our x? Our x was our input. And this should extend all the way here. And then this whole thing, this whole piece, that's just our function. Alright, so going back to this marker example, we're going to rewrite the marker equation into function notation. So we had y equals 0.99x, so I'm just going to replace that y. So f of x equals 0.9x. So going back to our marker scenario, say I'm at the store and I know that each marker costs 99 cents. How much would I pay for 3 markers? what did we say? We were taking the cost of each marker times how many we buy. So that is $2.97. So what did I do? I multiplied our number of markers by the cost to get total cost of all 3 markers. So what we can do is, and what we really did was in our f of x equals 0.99x, we took that 0.99 and we replaced that x with 3. Right, this is our function. So then when we do that math, that equals that $2.97. So if we wanted to buy 4 markers, we would do the same thing. And you'll see it noted here. You see how the x is replaced with a 4? So we're just doing that same thing. We're taking that f of x equals 0.99x, and since now this is a f of 4 instead of an x, now should use a different color. Instead of an x here, we're going to put that number there. And when we do that, f of 4 equals 396. So if you get something that says evaluate for f of 4, evaluate the function f of x equals 0.99x for f of 4, all we're doing is we're replacing that x with that number everywhere we see x. So, same kind of scenario on the back. Luca's Pizzeria sells a large plain cheese pizza for $12 each. So let's write our equation. How much can we earn selling cheese pizzas? So we want to know how much can we make, so y, if we're selling each for $12. X would be the number of pizzas we sell. So which one is our dependent variable? Our dependent variable is our y, and that represents the amount of money Luca can make. I don't know why this keeps focusing and not focusing. Identifying the independent variable, that's our x variable, and that represents the number of pizzas we sell. Write the equation in function notation. Again, all you're doing is changing out that y. So then it says, what does it mean to find f of x? It means we want to know how much money Luca makes selling 3 pizzas. How would we find f of 3? We would replace our x, or plug in our x, with 3 and calculate. So find f of 3. So our equation here is f of x equals 12x. So now we want to know what f of 3 is. So I'm just replacing that x with 3. And f of 3 equals 36. So if we sold 3 pizzas, we would make $36.